Welcome, everyone, to this virtual candidates forum presented by the League of Women Voters of Lee County and the Alliance for the Arts. I'm Sarah McDonald, president of the League here in Lee County. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan political organization working to build citizen participation in the democratic process. The League never supports or opposes candidates for office or political parties. And a special shout out to Bill Taylor from the Alliance for the Arts for his invaluable assistance in producing these events. I hope you find this virtual forum useful in your decisions about the upcoming elections. Remember, democracy is not a spectator sport.
Welcome. My name is Clara Graham, Director of Voter Services for the League of Women Voters of Lee County. With the efforts of the Voter Service Committee members, we bring educational voting information to empower you, the voter. Remember, voting is people power. Voting initiatives include Vote 411, a voter's guide. Type in your browser, VOTE 411, and input your address. Voting information specific to you will appear. Another initiative is an election protection hotline for voters having problems voting. Election protection phone number is posted on the Vote 411 site. Lee County Supervisor of Elections website also has voting educational information. This candidates forum is hosted by the League of Women Voters of Lee County in partnership with the Alliance for the Arts. Consistent with federal laws and league policy, no forum will be held with less than 2 candidates for each race. No personal attacks or abusive language will be permitted. No substitutions or stand-ins for candidates are allowed. For fairness, time limits will be strictly enforced. Each candidate will have 2 minutes for their introductory presentation and 2 minutes for the wrap-up, with the first speaker selected at random. Questions have been solicited from League members and the public. Each candidate will be allowed 1 minute to answer each question. The League will rotate starting speakers for each question. By participating in the forum, candidates consent to the recording of the forum and to its release by the League and its affiliates and its representatives. Forum content is the property of the League of Women Voters and no recording of the forum by the candidate or the staff is allowed. Rebroadcast of the forum must be done in its entirety. Candidates must agree that they will not use any portion of the forum in a political advertisement. This virtual forum will be posted online and accessible 24/7 by the League of Women Voters of Lee County and the Alliance for the Arts. Remember, every vote counts. Happy learning. Welcome to the League of Women Voters and the Alliance for the Arts Fort Myers Beach citywide council race. There are 4 candidates running for the seat for Fort Myers Beach. We did invite all candidates to participate. We either got a decline or they did not answer. 2 of the candidates are with us tonight for the Candidates Forum sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Lee County and the Alliance for the Arts. Gentlemen, you start off with a 2-minute opening statement, and it's at random. So, John King, you can start with your 2-minute opening statement, please.
Okay. League of Women Voters of Lee County and the Alliance for the Arts, thank you for the opportunity. Clara, thanks for moderating it. Patrick, thanks for being here as well. I'm John R. King. I currently serve on the board of directors of the Islands End Condo Association In doing that, I got involved with town politics as we and other condo associations sought to change a town ordinance dealing with window tint. We successfully got that ordinance changed from a 15% restrictive tint to the state standard of 45%, thereby saving a lot of people in condo associations and regular homes as well money for those who wanted to put in new windows. While involved in that issue, I noticed a lack of leadership on the town council. I noticed a lack of communication between town government and business owners and taxpayers as well. I noticed a poor relationship between the town and the county caused by some of those in town government. And finally, I saw a lack of common sense. Since I've become a candidate, I've gone ahead and used my leadership skills, communication skills, and relationship building skills to improve that relationship with Lee County. I met with Sheriff Marcino. We've talked about some of the issues, told him I wanted to improve the relationship there. I also had discussions with a couple of county commissioners, Ray Sandelli and Mike Greenwell, again, about improving the relationship between the town of Fort Myers Beach and the county. As for common sense, I will always keep two questions in mind. How does it benefit the town? How does it benefit the taxpayers? Now, I'm here, I don't have all the answers. I'm a condo owner and I'm a taxpayer with a desire to do the right thing. That's make town government work for citizens instead of citizens feeling like they have to work for the town. I view my role as someone who would be able to remove roadblocks and facilitate success. And when we do that, we're all winners. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. King. Patrick Romko, please.
Hi, everybody. Thank you very much for having us here at the League of Women Voters. And I just wanted to say, once again, thank you, and anybody else who's watching it too as well. You know, as a resident of Fort Myers Beach for the last 5 years, I've come to become an advocate and also to become more of a watchdog and a more of a hands-on approach to city government. I joined the race primarily because there has been about 5 years where I've actively had communication with the town council and with the local operations of the town. And in doing that, I've had some conflict, I've had some questions, and I believe that I haven't been able to participate actively because of the fact that the meetings are held at a time where working class people have to be more of a observer than a participant. So there's many other options and ideas on why I did that, but mostly because simple things like from keeping the garbages clean over by the local businesses, keeping the beaches clean, the water clean. We had the red tide issue. We had the COVID issue. When you have storm sewers overflow, we have water flow issues. All those issues and a lot more are the reasons why I've advocated to join the race as a member of the town council. My convictions are to uphold the highest standards and qualities of the town itself. We have Margaritaville coming in, and I think we need to uphold to that standard. The government be proud community. When you elect me as town council member, I'll use my communication, life skills, moral convictions, values, the scout oath and scout law as my character, along with my spiritual beliefs to make all the decisions.
Thank you. Okay, we will start with the first question. The first question will be for John King, and then we will alternate those that start first. All right, Mr. King, what are your thoughts on urban redevelopment as contrasted with new development projects?
I guess I'm not sure I fully understand the question, so I'm really not sure how I would respond other than I guess.
Okay,
I'm sorry,
what we're asking is, would you prefer redevelopment in your area on Fort Myers Beach instead of doing brand new development projects?
I think it needs to be a balance between the two. Obviously, with Margaritaville coming online next September, that's a brand new development, new resort. Yes, I'd love to see renovations. That's something we're doing right now in our condo association. We've looked at the buildings, had them inspected, and need to take them down to the bare bones and start building them up again because they're 40-year-old buildings. That's part of a state mandate that was passed this last summer. So a healthy combination of both, I believe.
Okay, thank you. Patrick Romko?
I'm going to answer this question in regards to the development of Fort Myers Beach. In my 5 years, it has grown. The development, the financial cost of living here, even the real estate market has doubled, almost tripled. The Margaritaville expansion that was brought into it has stepped up our game, and I am a little concerned that we might lose focus of the town and who we are and who we were. I mean, not just the 5 years I've been here, but the reason I moved here because of that small town appeal. And the development of such greatness might be against what it is we're trying to do, where we move away from the resident island to more of a rental island. And I don't agree with that at all. But,
Okay, thank you. Okay, the next question, Patrick Romko, you will start. What are your plans to protect critical infrastructure in preparation for our next disaster, such like as hurricanes?
So our current infrastructure on the island, I mean, we've seen multiple hurricanes in a couple of past, and we've had storm damage throughout. We've been pretty lucky with not having a direct hit. The one thing that I did was recently been able to walk the beach with the Audubon Society and some other residents who I consider local experts. And some of these areas and the critical areas where you would see like the critical wildlife area, for example, is a perfect example of erosion. And I think that's an area now we need to protect. The protection of those areas will help deter the sand in the beach from shifting because of the way the erosion hits that. So I think when we look at the infrastructure from the beach itself, from the island itself, I think we need to worry about our storm waters, our storm system, and to make sure that we have evacuation situations tied up.
John King.
Well, I think we need to keep in mind this is a barrier island, so it changes day by day, hour by hour. But I do believe the county has addressed one of the main issues, which is the county road, Estero Boulevard, the main road through town. That after a lengthy project has finally been completed, and we're seeing good drainage after storms from there. Now, some of the areas in the side streets during high tides will flood with salt water, so we need to work at getting those fixed as quickly as possible. Also, I believe the town has done a good job as far as pointing out where we need to do beach renourishment to give us sand in areas that need it to keep the Gulf further away from a lot of places. I know at Island's End, we've been fortunate enough to have accreted sand, so we have a nice barrier between Big Carlos Pass and the Gulf with any storms surge that might hit us.
Okay, thank you. Okay, John King. What are your priorities for transportation planning?
Well, I think that's something we'd have to work closely with Florida Department of Transportation on. I know there's concerns at the north end of the island with Matanzas Pass Bridge. We have people sitting a long time trying to get onto this island. We need to come up with a solution that includes the county as well, with their transportation of trolleys and buses to bring on visitors and the workforce to coming to work to this island every day instead of having to sit in traffic for so long. So hopefully with the new development of the Matanzas Pass Bridge, we'll be blocking people from crossing willy-nilly at intersections or wherever they feel like on the boulevard. I know also with Margaritaville and the new walkover bridge they have, Skywalk, I think it'll help divert a lot of people as well.
Okay, thank you. Patrick Romko.
When it comes to transportation, access to on and off the island has always been something that not just for residents, but for tourists as well. But also another concern is on the south end of the island during season, getting from the south end of the island to the north end of the island, where sometimes the traffic could be anywhere from an hour to an hour and 45 minutes to go 3 miles. I think that dealing with the state and county and making possibly a middle lane over the bridge so we can get a trolley access from San Carlos Island or even off the mainland island and into our downtown square area. I think Margaritaville has done a good job of managing it, making sure that they have access to all their people so that they don't drive cars, and that'll help too as well.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Patrick Romko. What plans do you have to make beaches and boat parking more accessible?
Beaches and parking. So when it comes to my plan, I'm going to say this, that I don't think it should be a dictatorship on what I think. I think we should look at it from a residential perspective and ask the residents as well as just myself. As a resident, I'll answer that question how I would see it, and maybe as a way of a suggestion. But I think that the access to beaches, from the beach access from the south end all the way to the north end, we do a pretty good job of maintaining those. I think the biggest restrictions come on the north end, and I've suggested with not having to worry about workforce housing per se, but I think having a parking structure that we could park not just residents if we wanted to come down and visit, but also workers. And I think that's going to be a key moving forward in the future of our island.
Okay, thank you. John King.
Most of the beach access for public is at the north end of the island. At the south end of the island, they're very limited. So the parking and the beach accesses are more north. I know with the beach renourishment, if say someone like the Leonardo Arms, when the situation they're facing with the loss of so much beach, they'll have to sign an agreement to allow public access to receive some of the sand that they most need the most from the renourishment project. So other than that, I'm really not sure what we can do.
Okay, thank you. Okay, John King. What are your sources of ongoing education that allows you to make informed decisions for Fort Myers Beach?
I listen to everyone that has an opinion. I read a lot to form my own opinion. So it's a combination between the two. I think it's very important that, as I mentioned earlier, that we open up the communication lines between town government and the taxpayers and the businesses. So I'm now talking to businesses who feel slighted. And I grew up in a small business, a family-owned small business for over 50 years. So those people are close to my heart and in my background. So again, I just go with listening and reading.
Okay, thank you. Patrick Romko.
Well, I think you need to look at the fact that in the 5 years that I've been here, I've been seen, I've been out and about, I've met with business owners become friends with them the last 5 years. I've met with many of town's residents. I've gotten to know many of them as well as also workers on the island. And I think that's the continuation, right? To make sure that I'm reaching out to the right people, the critical people, though, the ones that, when it's time to talk about lighting, you need to make sure you were talking to people that have been working with this issue with residents of the island for many years. As the same thing with turtles. I need to make sure that that we listen to them and we listen to the people when it comes to what their ideas are. I think listening is going to be the biggest key. And, working with that and having that open line of communication, being comfortable with somebody. In all my years of working with communities and scouting, I've seemed to always have an angle.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Romko. Okay, the next question, Patrick Romko. What leadership would you provide to protect water quality and water resources on Fort Myers Beach?
I think that the water quality is one of my top issues. I've been here for the 5 years, and I've seen the water get dark, and I've seen it turn blue, and I've seen the red tide come through. I've lived really close, about 150 yards from that, and just sitting on my porch, having the restriction of breathing, the living through that, watching all the dead fish pile up in huge piles where we had to have excavators come in and drag the fish off by the thousands. And then to see the Caloosahatchee and the captains of clean water that we all stood behind to make sure that this never happens again. And making sure that we work with not just the town of Fort Myers Beach, not just with Fort Myers, not just with the county, but with Sanibel and everyone from here up to the down the Caloosahatchee.
Okay, thank you. Okay, John King.
I think the state has done a good job in starting to manage the improvement in the area, working with the Army Corps of Engineer about releases from Lake Okeechobee, and then trying to tamp down on fertilizer that gets put into the reservoir. I also think I would look towards a couple of the council members, Dan Allers and Jim Adderholt, who have spearheaded and led on this issue.
Okay, thank you. Okay, John King. What leadership would you provide to protect Fort Myers Beach from sea level rise, saltwater intrusion, and the use of herbicides?
I believe what I would do would be what we're already doing right now as far as beach renourishment. The town is working on that to add sand to places where it's badly needed. So that would put a buffer between us and the Gulf, which is all the better for everyone, especially the folks at Leonardo Arms. Also, I think we do a very good job of taking care of the pesticide issue. I know there was some concern about the state FWC using pesticides on the south side of the island where the shorebirds nest. They had to use some minor pesticides to try and tamp down the sand spur issue for the birds. I'd also look to Dan Allers and Jim Adderholt for their leadership as well.
Patrick Romko.
When it comes to the current situation, I have to say that I think the town is currently doing a good job working with the outside agencies, with the state, to make sure that we are keeping everything clean, keeping everything working without pesticides. And like John said, working with that small amount, doing test samples and small amounts to make sure that we're helping with the wildlife from the birds, not just the birds, but for the water, for the fish, and for the people. So I think we're doing a pretty good job. I think we need to keep doing that. I don't think there's something that's drastic that right now that I know about personally, outside of what I've just said. But thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Patrick Romko. What are the top 3 issues to coordinate with other governmental jurisdictions and why?
So number one, I think that we need to make sure that we're working hand in hand with the Lee County, not just the Lee County and its commissioners, to making sure that the tax money and the communication between Fort Myers, all of Lee County, that we work with roads, lightings, all of that to try to help our infrastructure, but making sure that we have a very good, and I mean a very good relationship between the two. The other one, I think, critically would be with the sheriff, making sure that we work with the sheriff so that we can get community policing and make sure that we're fundamentally working with the safety. When it comes to the state, I think we need to work with the state so that we can work with our clean water.
Okay, thank you. John King.
I think a couple of safety issues are tops for me. That's why I already met with Sheriff Marcino. I advised him that community policing will be coming to Fort Myers Beach after this election. Asked him to help alleviate some of the costs to the town and to our taxpayers by applying for federal grants that will enable the federal government to pick up 75% of the cost of those officers. We'll then either work on splitting the 25% or taking that on ourselves. The sheriff was happy to do that. As a matter of fact, he mentioned that on staff he's got a person that's involved in grant writing. I also believe that the lighting issue on Estero Boulevard is a top priority. My understanding is the poles and the lights that we need from FPL have cleared their testing in the lab anyway, and we need to allow that to move forward, saving us some taxpayer money there as well with the tariffs involved.
Okay, thank you. Your time is up. Okay, John King, what are your plans for any unspent campaign funds?
Well, I think I'll probably just make a donation to a nonprofit on the island.
Okay. Well, that was a quick answer. Okay, Patrick Romko.
Well, as everyone knows, that I am running a grassroots organization here to try to get on, and I don't have much money. I don't have the $20,000 and to worry about a surplus. I am looking at making sure that I have enough signs for the day of the election. I have banners and also possibly trying to get a mailing out, but I will not have at all an access. I'm sure I will have to spend more money out of pocket.
Okay, thank you. Okay, these are the end of our questions. Now we'd like to start up with the ending wrap up, and Patrick Romko will start.
So again, I wanted to say thank you for letting us here. And I know some of the questions were technical and might be harder for us to just answer without doing further research and talking to citizens of Fort Myers Beach is one of those things that I do. And I wanted to say that I have to tell you that I want to put this out there, that I'm a resident and I'm a good community citizen. I have been active in the community. I have been active with the town council. Every town council member, including the mayor, in past, know who I am because I've been diligent in making sure that I am a part of this and that my voice is heard. I take everything that I've done in my life, from working as restaurant management all the way into teaching today. And that, with the years of scouting experience that I have, I take all that as character building and as universal to who I am as a person. And I think once you get to know who I am and you see me as a person and you get to talk and you get to meet with me, and that's what I'm going to try to do in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to try to get out there and talk to you, but feel free to reach out and talk to me too. Call me up. I'm happy to sit with you. I have many ideas of experience. Excuse me, not ideas. I have many experiences. Being a teacher has probably been one of the most successful experiences of my life. I wanted to always spend the last 20 years of my life as a teacher to give back to the community, and I'm doing so. And I'm changing lives every day. I love where I go. I love getting up in the morning and going to school. And every day I have that opportunity to change a life. And every day I have the opportunity to do something for the society today. And I want to continue that here with the Fort Myers Beach Town Council. I want to give back, and I want to be a representative of the people. And I hope you give me that chance. You just have to vote for me.
Thank you. John King.
Well, I want to thank the League of Women Voters in Lee County for this opportunity, as well as the Alliance for the Arts. Patrick, thanks for being part of this. And Clara, thanks for your moderation skills. I'm John R. King, running for town council because I think we can do better. I'm a taxpayer and a resident. Actually, I know we can do better. Better for our town, better for our taxpayers, better for the businesses on the island, and better for our visitors. We deserve better. Better, more concerned, more collaborative, and engaged leadership. A better plan for the future of our island home. We need to be strategic about planning down the road. Better safety measures, as I discussed a little while ago. We all deserve to be listened to as well and communicated with. That's not being done now. All the time is how we should be communicating with people and listening to them with plenty of notice about important issues. If leadership, communication, collaboration, and common sense are important to the voters of Fort Myers Beach, I'd humbly appreciate their vote on November 8th. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. King and Mr. Romko, I want to thank you so much for participating. And the League of Women Voters and the Alliance for the Arts wishes you the very best in your campaign. I'd like to let you know that the video will be available on the League of Women Voters Lee County website, as well as the Alliance for the Arts. There will be a link on our Vote, VOTE 411 initiative, and that people will be able to see it there too. I'd also like to remind people of our Vote 411, which will give you all the information that you will be voting on. If you put in the browser your name, address, and I think it's your birth date, it'll give you what's going to appear on your ballot. And I want to, at this point, thank Sandy Frank, who is also a member of the Voter Service Committee, for all her hard work on getting Vote 411 established and running, both for the primary and for the general election. And I want to thank Kim Shunk for all her hard work that she has put in for getting these candidate forms to fruition. Also, I'd like to let the public know that there is an election hotline available to voters. If you are having a problem voting, or you see an issue that you think is something that should be reported, that you can get that number also on Vote 411. Again, I want to thank you as the candidates and look forward and hope you all have a very enjoyable campaign. Thank you very much.